So it's been 140 years since the very first automobile hit the road. And the company that started it all, Mercedes-Benz, is at this incredible crossroads. They're celebrating a legendary past while betting billions on a future that looks completely different. So the big question is, how does the inventor of the car plan to reinvent it for the next century? Let's dive in. To really get where they're going, you have to look back at where they've been, and the legacy here is just immense. It all kicks off in 1886 with the patent for the very first car. Then, just 2 years later, you have this epic journey that proves the whole concept works. By 1926, the brand we all know is born. But look, this isn't just a history lesson. This is the foundation for what they're doing right now as they try to define the next 140 years. And this story right here, it really says it all about the company's DNA. This wasn't just a drive, it was a hardcore proof of concept. Bertha Benz drove 111 miles, and in doing so, she basically became the first long-distance driver and the first roadside mechanic. She famously used a hat pin to clean a fuel line and her garter to insulate a wire. That spirit of just getting it done, of proving the future is possible, that's the thread we're going to follow today.
Okay, so how does that pioneering spirit look today? Well, right now, it's a story of these incredible contrasts. I mean, on one hand, Mercedes is facing some serious financial challenges. But on the other hand, they're unleashing the most ambitious product rollout in their entire history.
And here's the scale of that challenge, boiled down to one number. To deal with everything from global tariffs to intense competition, especially in China, Mercedes-Benz had to find 3.5 billion euros in savings last year alone. Now that's the kind of pressure that would make most companies just retreat and play it safe. But that's not what they did.
And you can see the impact of that pressure right here in the numbers. Look across the board. Revenue, earnings, sales, they all took a hit in 2025 compared to the year before. That's the tough reality they're working in. But, and this is the whole point, this wasn't a story about retreat. It was the setup for a massive counterattack.
Because while they were tightening their belts, they were also preparing this, the single biggest product and tech launch in the company's 140-year history. We're talking more than 40 new models hitting the streets by 2027. They're not just trying to weather the storm, they're trying to become the storm.
And we are not talking about minor tweaks here. We're talking about the biggest facelift in the entire history of their flagship S-Class, over 2,700 new parts. For all the performance fans out there, there's a new AMG GLC with a beastly 6-cylinder engine. And get this, it's the first AMG SUV to have a drift mode. A drift mode in an SUV. They are absolutely doubling down on making cars that people will just crave. And you can see how the CEO, Ola Källenius, frames it. He doesn't see 2025 as a bad year. He sees it as the successful kickoff for this huge offensive. The strategy is crystal clear. They're going to innovate and excite their way to growth. But believe it or not, that massive product launch is only half the story. The other half is an even bigger, even bolder bet on the future. They're using their crown jewel, the S-Class, to build a future that might not have drivers at all. A global, luxury robotaxi service. Now, to really wrap your head around this, we need to be clear on the tech. This isn't just a fancy cruise control. We're talking about what's called SAE Level-4 autonomy. And here's the key difference. Within a specific area, like a downtown core, the car handles everything. You, the driver, become a true passenger. There is zero need to be ready to take the wheel. And here's the game plan. The vehicle is the new S-Class, which is built from the ground up with redundant, fail-safe systems. Think a backup for the steering, a backup for the brakes. The brain is their brand new in-house operating system, MB.OS, which gives them total control. And the goal? It's nothing less than a driverless luxury shuttle available all over the world. Now, Mercedes knows that inventing this kind of future is way too big a job to do alone. So instead of trying to wall everything off, they're building what they call an open ecosystem. They're basically teaming up with the absolute best in the business. And just look at the all-star team they've put together. You've got NVIDIA, the AI giant, providing the computing brainpower. You have Momenta, a critical partner for cracking the huge Chinese market. Uber is on board to help with the service network. And this isn't some far-off dream. The operator Lumo is planning to put the first S-Class robotaxis on the road in Abu Dhabi this year. And this quote from the CTO, Jörg Berzer, just seals the deal. He says it plainly. This is the beginning of our entry into the robotaxi market. They don't just see a new S-Class, they see the ultimate platform for a completely new kind of business. So let's bring this all home. What we're really seeing is a 140-year-old company acting with the hunger of a startup. It's leveraging its historic strengths, luxury, engineering, safety, to take on the biggest change in transportation since they invented the car in the first place.
And in the end, it all comes back to this, doesn't it? A journey that started with one woman, a hat pin, and a garter, proving that a car could actually work in the real world. Now, the challenge is proving a car can work with no driver at all, using AI and a network of global partners. So the question is, after inventing the automobile 140 years ago, can Mercedes-Benz truly reinvent driving itself?